absolutely beautiful Libra friends, and welcome to your horoscope for October of 2022. And first of all, happy birthday to the Libras that are on this side. It's birthday time, living my best life. Remember, this is your annual restart. So hopefully you are planting some seeds for what you would like the next year of Libra-ing to look like and to be like. You had this really nice opportunity as we were traveling through September and also the last part of August to be in reflection. So, and you're going to have a moon that happens in your 12th house as well. So I do think that some of the energy as we're working with it through October is really profound and powerful for you in order to make an impact and leap out, like come out in a way that you haven't before. But I also do still wonder if you have made time to say, not what do I want my career to look like, not what do I want my family to look like, but like what do I want to achieve? Like at the end of this year, how do I want the internal stasis of Libra to be and to feel like, and do I have the courage to go, towards that? You are a Libra, you are one of the signs that commits, right? It's about commitment. Are you keeping and making the commitments to yourself, Libra? So I hope for your annual reset, this is something that you're doing, or you'll at least listen to cousin Stormie and then have a reflection on that. Okay. Libra, the other thing I do want to call to your attention before we jump in and look at all the dates is that Mars is slowed down to prepare for its retrograde, which is going to happen at the end of the month. Now, even though it's not in retrograde yet, it is slowed down. So I just want you to be mindful that, because, Mars is our planet of like get up and go. So it's like some of the get up and go has got up and went. And that is just the real truth. But the nice part, I think, for Libra, as you use that, is that this retrograde is actually going to happen in your 9th house. So with some of this reflection that's been going on, maybe some planning, some re-strategizing, I actually think that the Mars retrograde for you, if strategized well, can lead to a nice expansion out or a nice set of learning or teaching, where it brings something of real expansive value into your life. But I do want you to be mindful that pushing, forcing, demanding, these are not for you this month with that Mars slowed down. What it can lead to is tons of frustration, tons of resentment, buried feelings that you've been having. You think somebody's cheating you. All of these things are a symptom of you're trying to get Mars to do what it's not built to do right now, okay? All right, Libra, let's get in here and see these dates. So on the 2nd, we've got Mercury coming out of retrograde at 24 degrees of Virgo. First and foremost, back up. Go to August 20th. What was going on in your life at 24 degrees of Virgo? What did you start? What were you getting organized around? What were you planning with? What were you discerning? What was going on in your Virgo qualities at that time? Now, this was in your 12th house, so working behind the scenes. Did you take on something between August 20th and September 9th where you were working behind the scenes on something? You're studying, you're creating, you're resting, you're rejuvenating, you made a decision about something. Whatever it is, it would have been about discerning a priority to you and getting organized. So back up. What was happening between those dates? Because now Mercury's direct, you can make decisions. Maybe it even feels like, in the middle, maybe a decision you made felt like it was really stutter stepping, or there were all these delays. It was very mercurial, and you're like, where did that come from? And now things are starting to move forward with a bit more speed and efficiency. Now, I do want you to keep in mind, Mercury is not out of post-retrograde shadow time yet. It does that on the 16th, which means then we're fully moving forward. Now it's starting to get better, and as the month goes on, more clarity, I think, more conversation will come to the table, okay? On the 8th, we have got Pluto coming out of retrograde in the energy of Capricorn. Now, Pluto went retrograde April 29th at 28 degrees of Capricorn, and it backed up just to 26 degrees. Now, this is in your 4th house, okay? Home, family, real estate, property. And I also want to say that with coming into the digital revolution, which is where we are at, right? It's already happened. And anyway, okay, we'll get into that in another video. But I also am starting to more and more see signatures of self-employment, working from home, these kinds of things. So Pluto over this last handful of months, go back to June 4th, what was going on, go back to April 29th, what was going on in your life with your career in some way, and that may be tied into your home zone as well. In your home and in your home life, did you change equipment? Did somebody move in? Did somebody move out? Where was there this change where some portion of your identity and your power was dying off, but becoming what it needed to be next? Now, I also think as Capricorn, as the keeper of titles, okay, so did you change title in some way? Did you go from being pregnant to parent? What was the title change that maybe came and allowed you to move forward to your next position of power? On the 9th, we've got a full moon at 16 degrees of Aries, which is right across the street from you. So it lights up this 7th house space. So the full moon asks us to end something, acknowledge something, or to make an adjustment, okay? So two schools of thought I have here at this particular moon is that, first of all, because it is in Aries and it is like your autonomy, your independence, who you are, where you think you have a damn right to exist, and where you want that damn right to exist happens to be in conscious, chosen, one-on-one relationships, right? So you may be reevaluating the relationships that you've brought into your life at this particular point. Now, Mars and Neptune are having a conversation. Mars is slowed down. Neptune is already retrograde. So I will tell you, some of the evaluation that I think you do at this point around this moon, be easy with. Because not everything you're seeing is like, yep, this is it. Change that relationship. So I think you'll know. Trust your intuition, your own beauty, your own wisdom. You have it. So trust it, okay? But I just also want you to know that that conversation is in the sky, but essentially, do the relationships that you have committed to in your life help you achieve, help you move forward? That may be an evaluation. Now, I also think that Aries is just Aries. You can expand your relationship zone here. You're like, I'm going out, I'm meeting people, I'm signing contracts, I'm making decisions, and you expand your relationship life, which is really, really good news for you. All right, as we get to the 10th, now we see Mercury sliding back into Libra, into your sign. So honestly, every day as we get towards the 16th, it may feel like clarity, a little more clarity, a little more clarity, a little bit more clarity is coming to the table. But I think that at this point in the month, you may feel clearer on making decisions about what you would like to do, where you would like to go, who you'd like to socialize with, who are your partners. Since Aries season, since the springtime, who have you met that's come into your network and you're like, yeah, I want to align here. I want to grow here, right? What allows Libra to just really kind of have this expansion out? Now, remember on the 16th, Mercury is going to be out of post-retrograde shadow time, and then new decisions galore. Mercury is ready to go. On the 23rd, quite busy energy for a few days. First of all, Saturn is coming out of retrograde at 18 degrees of Aquarius, okay? Now, Saturn went into retrograde at 25 degrees of Aquarius on June 4th. So what was happening for you in your life, especially around 5th house things? So, what was happening around children for you? What was happening around conception, starting something new, a new business, a new idea, what were you working on? Now, Saturn, when the structures are not ready, when you can't officially take that level up yet, it can feel like doubt. It can feel a little bit like doubt, okay? Or it can feel like you're having a baby step and like really kind of research things. But Saturn also during its retrograde time and its movement into Aquarius was taking out structures and foundations that don't work anymore. You get to grow from them. And if you've done some work, you maybe even are owning your expertise and rising to the level of owning your expertise in something that you were doing in your fifth house zone. So Libra, what was it for you? Were your children moving on to their next level? You know, whether they went from being tiny people to actual toddlers, to they didn't walk and now they walk, right? To the new business, to conception. What was it for you that you kind of had to take a risk in order to come out here and let the world see Libra in this way? Now, we're also going to have Venus move into Scorpio, the Sun move into Scorpio, and then a couple days later, on the 25th, we're going to have the new moon solar eclipse at 2 degrees of Scorpio. So all of this, as we get to the 23rd of the month, I want you to be prepared for transition, for a rocketing even in your financial zone and in your value zone. Okay, but it is going to come from a deep place. This is not superficial. It's not superficial at all. So as we're looking at this eclipse, the first thing in this area of your life, first thing I want to point out to you is every October, your second house, your house of money, how you make money, the money you have, the things that you value, your own self-esteem come into question every October. So I want you to think back to last October and the October before that and the October, what happens for you every year, Libra, in October, because it's mostly the same configuration, certainly with the sun being in Scorpio energy. But now we throw this eclipse in and I ask you 19 years ago, around your money, what were you like? I'm passionate about this and I am willing to take steps, even if they scare the hell out of me, to do it, right? Like Scorpio is grabbing fear by the neck, being like, well, I'm sorry, we're afraid, but the faith is stronger than the fear. Let's go. We got to put ourselves out here. I want to put my neck out. I want to go this way. I'm passionate about what it is that I do. I'm driven by this, right? So this can be an eclipse that really stirs that for you and launches you over this next 3 months into a completely different situation. Life can completely change, and along the way you are able to collaborate and to adopt in and with you resources that help you do that. Now, to the other side, depending on your experience, where you're at in your journey, Scorpio in the second house can also make us obsessive. And when we become obsessive, it comes from fear. So we can become shameful about maybe things that have happened in our second house around our resources, around our self-worth and value. And as we get to the 29th, we're also going to see Mercury move into the energy of Scorpio, and it will dig. So if there's resentments, if it feels like this is a burden, if there's fear, it's going to dig it to the surface, because Scorpio season is the time to change. It's the time to get into those deep feelings and not go into them alone, talk them out with someone who can help us move from the position of obsession, fear, and shame into transition. But also it can be entirely powerful for launching you in a different direction. Okay, on the 28th, we've got Jupiter moving back into the energy of Pisces. So it's retrograde, coming from Aries back into the energy of Pisces. This is your day-to-day routine. Now, about a year ago, Jupiter moved into the energy of Pisces and started to work on your sixth house, the day-to-day routines, the mundane things. It's not your job or your career. It's the mundane things. You got to make the copy. You got to make the coffees. You got to call the people. What are the day-to-day things? And Jupiter was ready to expand your work, your freelance life, your health, your wellness, all of these things. But it also was kind of testing to see if the ideals that you had could stand the test of time. Like, can you stand and can you really build on this? And it also, I think, was a great test for you in the work that you're doing, in taking care of your body, your mental health and wellness, in taking care of others. If you are coming at it from a position of selfishness, like this is about me, I'm here to make money, or if it is a position of service and compassion. And it moves you, I think, in this sense from being the guru on the stage to being the guide on the side, but being a really strong, knowledgeable guide. I am just here. And this is one of the foundations of my astrological practice. I'm not here to tell you what's going on in your life. I'm here to walk with you, holding a flashlight to illuminate the way so that you have your hands free to do what you need to do. I am the guide on the side. So it's very much so this kind of idea for you. And it calls into question, how and why are you doing what you're doing in your daily routine? Are you working out that hard, Libra? You're an air sign. Are you working out that hard because you're afraid if you don't look this way then? Or are you working out that hard because it feels good and your ideals around it are free and it is of service to your form and your energy? So these kinds of questions are what's on the table. As we get to the 29th, Mercury moves into Scorpio, very focused until November 17th on all things financial, okay? And as we close out the month here on the 30th, Mars is going to step into that retrograde in the energy of Gemini. Now it's going to step into this retrograde at 25 degrees and it will end it at 8 degrees of Gemini in January, but we still have the signature of the post-retrograde shadow energy all the way until March, okay? Now this for you is going to light up your 9th house space, and this is why I was saying, done right, used right, in the proper mind and energy, and without a willingness to make it happen, but to work on it. I think that this Mars retrograde time for you can be about great expansion out into the world. The 9th house is publishing, marketing, broadcasting, foreign language, foreign travel. It's about teaching, right? Owning your spot in the stage, right? Like, I'm the teacher here. It's also about faith, ceremony, ritual in your life. So I really think instead of hiding under a rock while Mars is retrograde here, maybe you're going back into a training at this time, or you'll be working on the training until maybe January or something like that. And then by the time we reach springtime, then you're ready to really leap out, putting all of your training and your strategies in place to take advantage of what you've done to rework how you do things and how you work with your energy. The last thing I'll say to you is this is fellow air energy. So I think it beckons the question of who's in your network that is helping you get done what you are getting done. Now, likely go back again to September 2nd, when Mars entered into pre-retrograde shadow time. Who was in your network at that time? And even if things felt wonky or things felt like they were delayed, look at really using that network, because things might feel back on track and now you're able to receive what you were looking for, okay? All right, my absolutely beautiful Libra friends, hopefully the rest of birthday season is a gem for you. I look forward to seeing you next month and hearing your evaluations in the comment section down below. When you look back at some of those dates I mentioned, what was going on for you and where are you seeing a similar pattern show up for you now? I love you guys, and I'll see you next month.